comedy fans. Welcome to another episode of the Comedy at the Carlson Cast. I'm your host. My name is Vinny, and joining me today in studio, it's the great David Koechner. Today's episode and every episode is brought to you by Comedy at the Carlson, Rochester's favorite place for stand-up, and the only place you're going to be able to see David Koechner performing 4 shows, as well as Office Trivia with Todd Packer. You can grab your tickets now at carlsoncomedy.com. And now let's kick it over to the studio and have a conversation with David. Good morning, Carlson casters. Welcome back to another episode of the Comedy at the Carlson Cast. Joining me today in studio, one of my more memorable guests. Not to him, though. He didn't remember being here the first time.
I remember. I didn't remember it was here at the club.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, welcome back.
Thank you.
David Koechner, ladies and gentlemen. You know him. He's an actor, producer, writer, and he's been performing 4 shows here this weekend and a very special matinee tomorrow afternoon that I can't wait to talk about.
Right.
Welcome back to Rochester, New York.
Thanks for having me back.
You've had an eventful 24 hours.
Already, yes. It's been busy.
Throwing out the first pitch at the
first
Red Wings
pitch
game.
at not the Red Wings, at the plates. Last night was plate night.
Okay.
It's a garbage plate. It's a local delicacy.
I've heard of these things.
Yes. So plate night, threw out the first pitch, and then I signed I had a nice fat line of people to sign and take pictures with. That was nice.
That's really cool.
Because you gotta remember to be grateful. There's a line of people to take a picture with you, and it means something.
It does.
And so you don't discount that. You get to be part of, they're happy to meet you.
I was watching a video yesterday of a Hall of Fame quarterback sitting at a convention, taking pictures with people, and just looking the most miserable I've ever seen. So it's nice to hear that there's people out there who do realize that it's important to people.
It's important to people. They stood in line to take a picture with you.
You ever
you
ever get somebody in those lines? You're like, could you do me a favor? Just go back to the back of the line. You ever get that?
No. People, you're always going to have someone who has something going on, and you have to recognize you can't control it. They might have something that's happening. Sure. But yesterday was no incident, but it might be something light.
Have you thrown out a lot of first pitches?
I have. More than I ever would have thought I would do in my lifetime. But yes, I think I've done it twice at Wrigley Field, once at Busch Stadium. I think this is my 4th or 5th one at a AAA ballpark. So can I tell you? So yesterday,
yeah, absolutely.
Wednesday, I got in. What is today? Friday?
Yeah.
Yes, Wednesday night I got in. Mark, who's the greatest, came and picked me up. It's 1:30 in the morning because the flight was late. And Mark goes, by the way, when's the last time you threw a baseball? I said, it's been a minute. So yesterday, Mark and I were out in front of the Carlson playing pitch and catch with his daughter's mitts. And we played pitch and catch for about a half an hour, and we got sweaty. The staff was in the room peeking out, going, what are you 2 guys doing out there? And Mark goes, let's go inside. As you know, you got some big, long spaces in this building. So we were throwing pitch and catch inside the club. But it made a difference because I got less anxiety because, you're in front of thousands of people.
I was going to ask you. That's a lot of pressure when you're not a pitcher.
It's one of the few times I get anxious because I don't get nervous about going on stage because you already know what you're going to do and there's no value to it. There's never value to anxiety unless there's a flight or flight situation. But, if it's been a minute since you've thrown a ball and it's got to go, is it 60 or 90? Forget what it is. But, so you need practice.
Yeah.
And you don't throw it on the ground because then you look like,
it's not a good look.
It's not a good look. So, there's a small amount of anxiety with that thing. But I'll tell you this. Before I threw out the pitch yesterday, so Mark and I practiced.
Right.
And then I signed photos for probably, I don't know, it seemed like an hour or more and took pictures. So by the time I get out to the mound, I'm not even thinking about it, which is great.
Yeah.
It
takes a lot of pressure off.
Your mind is, yes. So it all worked out.
So it was office night over there. And I have to ask you, we're doing office trivia tomorrow afternoon. That's going to be our very special matinee. There's still some tickets available for it. It's to be hosted by Rob Mayer. I'm sorry. I have a good friend whose last name is spelled the exact same way.
Is that right? He spells it,
Mahar.
Yeah.
It's very pretentious his way. I prefer Mayer. Rob Mayer is going to be here. He's hosting it. And you were going to be performing as Todd Packer.
Well, he and I host together. He does the trivia part. I hosted as the real Todd Packer. Mm-hmm. So I come out, I do wear the suit, and I come through the audience and then tell some Packerisms, and then I tell stories from my time at the office. I tell stories about my time in show business. So it's kind of a hybrid show of stand-up storytelling and office trivia.
Yeah.
I call it the best trivia show in the country because at the end, not only is it entertainment throughout, it's not just trivia. It's like you're getting story stand-up the whole time and tons of jokes. And at the end, the top 2 teams compete for the championship by coming on stage and doing a scene with the real Todd Packer.
Oh, wow.
To the top 2. Each one does a scene, and then the audience decides who the winner is.
So far, people are already popping in the chat. Jennifer Scott says, OMG, I love you, Todd Packer.
I love you, Jennifer Scott.
Jennifer might be there this weekend.
Good. Come out. It's a fun show.
So when you did The Office, I know you go back with Steve Carell.
Steve and I have known each other since 1990, and then I've known Kate Flannery since 89.
Wow.
Yeah.
So these are old
Who's
friends.
Meredith, by the way.
Yeah. These are old friends.
Yes.
And when you got to do this show, you were brought on, was it the end of the first season or the second season?
I can't remember. I thought it was second season.
Okay, so second season. It's already slowly establishing. When you went on that show, did you realize it was going to be the massive hit that it turned into?
I didn't think it was going to work because I was a huge fan of the British Office.
Yep.
I couldn't understand how this was going to translate. But Greg Daniels is a genius and made this thing amazing, made it work.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And, I auditioned for Michael Scott, but I was a huge fan of The Office, and they used the same words. We call them sides in show business, the same sides from the pilot of the British Office for the audition. Okay. And I was like, I know this show too well. I don't know how you'd say this other than the way Ricky Gervais had done it. So I did not have a good audition. And then when it came time, they hired somebody else to play Packer. I was in Canada shooting a movie, and I'm not going to give it away because it's part of a trivia question. And so I got to town. They'd had this guy, and it didn't work out. They shot with him for 2 days, and they were thinking, like, who can we get to play Todd Packer? And then Steve Carell goes, why don't we give it to Koechner? He's kind of an asshole. And so that's a joke, folks. No, Steve recommended me. So that's how that worked out. But I'd worked with Greg Daniels before. I did an episode of King of the Hill, and I'd worked with several of his writers on King of the Hill. And so we were familiar. So that's how that all came down.
Now, I was a big fan of the British version of the show, too.
Still am. I love it. Yeah.
Hey, listen, the American version, they're 2 different animals. Very different
100,
shows.
100.
I can see how you would have trouble, but there was a character on the British Office.
Finchy.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
So when you are developing the character of Todd Packer and you're familiar with that, you realize there's like a level of douchebaggy asshole
that you're allowed. It's licensed. It's licensed to be a douchebag, and that's why it was so freeing. Like, I didn't even give it a thought because it's on the page. The writing for The Office is superior. We know this. It's superior writing, and it works. And so when I came in, I've got this freedom to do this character. It was playtime. It really was. It was just playtime. I did do the first pitch, right? At the Red Wings or the Plates, and they had done a bunch of Office parody. They'd parodied a bunch of sketches, and they did a great job.
They do a nice job over there.
They did a great job. I told them, I said, I'm really impressed. And they showed me they did a great job. And it also shows you how good the writing is on The Office.
Yeah.
They did the fire alarm episode. I forget what it was, the name of the real episode, but the writing is so good. It works even when amateurs are doing a parody of it.
It's a winning formula.
It really is. They did a great job. Yeah.
When you do that show, I always feel like it's one of those shows where there's got to be some improv going on. Is there, or is it mostly scripted?
To be honest, I can't remember. It's mostly scripted because it's television and you've got 12 hours a day you're working. So if you open it up to improvising, then everyone thinks you're going to be improvising.
20-hour day.
Remember, we've got 12 writers working 40 hours a week before that who pounded out the script. They don't necessarily welcome, like, yeah, I know you've done a lot of work on the script, but I'm going to do something off the top of my headsies. So you have to pitch if you're going to do it, unless you're Steve or somebody else who has high regard on the show. Or as they got later into the show, they would know that they'd have time for improvisation or who might be better equipped to do it. Yeah.
Well, your background is
improvisation.
World-class improviser.
Yeah.
Second City.
Yeah. Improv Olympic.
Improv Olympic.
Yes.
That's where you got started, right?
Yeah.
So when you're acting, and I got to tell you, man, I watched the trailer for this new movie that's coming out. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
I
you.
watched this. Wow, I am terrified of you in this trailer.
Good. It's a drama. I play a nasty preacher. Now, folks, hold on to your hat. It is a gay coming of age story, and I play / horror film. So it's a genre mixing movie.
Yeah.
Gay coming of age with horror.
Yeah.
And I play a really nasty preacher in it. You won't be disappointed. Ganymede. Look up the word Ganymede. I also explain in the movie what a Ganymede is.
Yeah.
It's a good movie. It's really good. I'm very proud of it. They did a great job.
Floored.
Yeah.
When I saw it, because David, your most popular characters are obviously in the comedic world. So to see this complete juxtaposition and all of a sudden it's like serious drama, not only serious drama, slightly terrifying.
Yeah.
How do you change your headspace for that?
Well, what game you're playing. It's not like you're
sit down for Monopoly.
Yes. You're not going to play basketball on top of a Monopoly board.
Right.
So yeah, I was flattered to be asked to do it, and it was a great script. The directors were great. It was a fun project.
I'm telling you, folks, go watch the trailer for this and then watch it. Where is it going to be released? When can I watch it? Is it out yet?
Yes, it's on Kinescope or something like that.
I'm going to find it.
I should have these answers at the ready.
It's all right.
If you go to my Instagram,
everybody thinks I'm just going to sell stand-up comedy tickets, and I'm going to do that right now. You can see David
Who's
Koechner
calling. Oh my goodness! Oh, my kids. Oh, I missed a bunch of calls last night because my kids had DoorDash and I was yelling at them. I put them all in a group text. I had 7 messages this morning, but they're from yesterday. I'd already gone to bed. Well, anyway, so they must have been begging to say, I'm sorry, I DoorDashed on you, Dad, because that's not allowed. All right, where are we? Here we go.
So real fast, I'm going to get your plugs in here. 4 shows, stand-up shows this weekend, tonight and tomorrow night. You grab your tickets now at carlsoncomedy.com. And if you're feeling squirrely and you want to have a real good time tomorrow afternoon, get your tickets for Office Trivia with the real Todd Packer. You're definitely going to want to grab those at carlsoncomedy.com. So,
okay. Kino Makes Movies is where I'm seeing it. Is that one? There's some event tonight. Kino Makes Movies. I don't know if that's where it is. Tune in tonight. They're doing a digital premiere of Ganymede on Kino Makes Movies. I'll give this to you. So later, can I give this to you now?
Yeah, sure. Sure. What would you like me to do with this here?
Am I right? Is that where it's always going to be, or is that some special tonight?
If you have Kino Plus, you could watch it for free.
Kino Plus, that's a digital platform, must be.
I'm guessing so.
I should be better at this. I should have all these answers at the ready for you, but I don't. I'm doing 40 weekends this year of stand up, so I
phone back, my man.
So I'm not. I need to be better about stuff like this.
Well, listen, I just think it's. I think when you keep a schedule like yours, I'm going to forgive it. I'm just glad to be hanging out with you this morning.
Well, I appreciate it.
I always enjoy chatting with
you, good.
David.
Thank you.
Now, let's talk about some other things you've been doing. You've been acting, obviously. Have you been producing or writing anything? Are you working on anything new?
Yes, I'm starting a podcast. Finally. I'll just tell you what it's going to be. Now, I haven't started it yet, but I'll tell you what it's going to be. It's called Hi, my name is Dave Koechner. I'm from Show Business. That's going to be the title. Okay. I've decided that much. And I started 2 other podcasts. One was called Get Me the Mayor. And I shot all this footage at 3 different cities while I was touring. It was too much. And it wasn't a podcast. Like, this is a travel show. Okay. So who knows? Maybe I'll take all that footage and turn it into a travel show. Then I started another one called Your Town, because I'm from Missouri. I'm a small town in Missouri. Yep. I thought like my small town had affected my trajectory in my life, because it was like a compressed diamond. I'm calling myself a diamond. I'm aware of that. But the pressure was like, I got to get out of here. And so that created my path to do something different. And so I thought everyone's kind of like that. So I did that one. And to be frank, I wasn't enjoying the podcast. So I stopped. I was like, okay, we didn't deliver any of these. We didn't put any of these out for broadcast.
So here's what we're learning here, folks, is that David really wants to be behind a project before he puts it out there.
That's right.
So this one, is this one going to see the light of day?
Yes. I haven't done one of them yet, but I know this is what I like, because I love show business. I love show business. I love the highs. I love the lows. I love the haves and have-nots. I love the has and has-beens. I love all of it. and I've got so many amazing friendships I've made over the years who have great show business stories. And I just want them to sit down and tell me your best show business story.
So you're going to every week have a new guest and
Yes.
discuss a showbiz story.
Actors, directors. I'm going to do PAs.
Okay.
Which is a production assistant.
That's where the dirt is.
The lowest rung on any production is a PA. And they know I'm not being denigrating to them at all. You just have the lowest status on the show. So you're the person that gets the worst of it. You get to be in show business, but you're the grunt. So I'm going to have these people on there too, and they can be anonymous. I'll put them in the dark if they want to be. I'll change their voice if they want to. They don't have to mention the show or the actor or actress they're talking about, so they can have this anonymity. But I want those type of stories too.
Okay. Well, I'm very interested in this.
Good.
But I'm going to take a listener question real
Love
fast.
it. Yes.
Manny Muskets is watching right now, and he wants to know how many of David's roles did he audition for versus written for him?
Oh, my gosh.
What roles have you done that are notably written for you?
Bobcat Goldthwait's series. Was it Monsters and Something? It's one of the most flattering things that's ever happened for me.
Okay.
Because Bobcat came up to me, and I was at Largo doing a show with maybe Dana Gould, and Bobcat came up and humbly said, "Hey, listen, I wrote this part for you in this series I'm going to do. Would you do it?" I'm like, "You're Bobcat Goldthwait."
Did you think he was talking to the guy behind you for
I
a
know,
second?
right?
Like,
I mean, Bobcat is one of the greatest stand-ups I've ever seen. If you get a chance to ever see Bobcat, don't miss it.
You've had 2 chances in the last few years to see Bobcat here, and I'm sure he'll be back.
He is the greatest. He's an artist. He's a master. Don't miss Bobcat. And for him to say, "Hey, I've written something for you," it's one of the most flattering things that's ever happened to me in my life. That one, and then Dana Gould, his show. Why is it going out of my head right now? Another monster show. He wrote a couple parts for me, and so they're friends, and they write something for you. It's beyond flattering.
Yeah.
Okay.
So still a fair share of auditioning for.
Oh yeah, and some movies, some stuff you just get.
Yeah.
Like that. I don't have the catalog in I had to sit and think about this question for a couple minutes. I'll be 62 this August. This is August now.
Happy
birthday. You've got to give me some forgiveness. As you get up there, it just doesn't go as well as it used to. So I have to sit and contemplate or go through my canon. Thank you. And go, all right, this was written for me. This is, whatever.
Yeah. I'll pop up on
something recently. What? I'll say, I'm going to do this project. I guess I can't say it, but it's written for me too, which is flattering. And sometimes people will say, "I had you in mind for this," right? Or this was written for you. And then you find out they offered it to somebody else first. Some people will say, "We wrote this with you in mind." I will say Krampus, the director, Mike Doherty, showed me, we had a meeting. I didn't audition. We had a meeting, and he showed me the boards for it, right? And it was clearly me.
Yeah.
And that was very flattering. So that's another one. I love, you don't miss Krampus.
I saw Krampus in the theater.
You did? It's a good movie.
I did. It was a lot of fun.
It'll come out every Christmas. You got this opportunity. Don't miss it. It'll become part of your Christmas staple. You won't tire of Krampus.
No.
There's some movies like, I've seen this so many times. Krampus is one of those ones you're going to look forward to seeing every Christmas. Yeah. It's really good.
It's like
very proud of Krampus.
90 minutes of awesome
really
horror movie, and it's fun and it's kind of lighthearted. And
it's got great twists and turns too, and it keeps turning. Yeah, it's really good. It's fun.
Well, I know you got to get out of here today because you have to go to some other interviews.
We got a couple more minutes.
Before we go, though,
yes.
Let me do what you do. Let me try this format.
Okay.
David, what's your favorite Hollywood showbiz story?
I've got several. I used to tell one on stage about how when I was shooting Dukes of Hazzard, I don't do the story on stage anymore, I got accused of taking a dump on a cop car, and it wasn't real. I didn't do it. This waitress had overheard these other actors talking at the table in a restaurant that I'd done that. They were joking around about it, and the cops thought I did, and they came and arrested me in my room at the hotel, brought me to the station, and they're trying to say, "Just admit what you did." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And this went on for hours, and I had to work the next morning.
This was like they filmed that in Georgia, right?
No, Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Louisiana, okay.
And I was just like, and at the end they said, you took a crap on the cop car or something like that. I'm like, first of all, where is it? There is no poop on this cop car. If you're investigating a crime and the crime is someone pooped on a cop car, there should be evidence of that. And there wasn't any.
Yeah. Is there a cop who's reported a stray turd? What is happening here?
Yes, no. And I used to say this is a joke in my stand-up, but they know everyone from Hollywood is a vampire, and us vampires, we poop clear. So they're like, where is it? And that was my showbiz story I used to tell on stage, but I don't anymore.
You got arrested because you were talking inside of a restaurant.
They were. I was gone. I had gotten a ticket because I'd taken a whiz outdoors. And rightfully so, they gave me a ticket for public urination. Okay. But in my mind, I'm like, I'm peeing in a bush behind a restaurant near the dumpster. I'm from Missouri, but they had just pulled up and they saw it, so like they couldn't ignore it.
Yeah, they just think you're running around peeing.
I was not in a good mindset because I don't drink anymore, but I used to, and so this is during that time, and so. They gave me a ticket, and I was really mad. Someone had suggested that perhaps that's what you should go. I'll just say, Knoxville said, why don't you go poop on the cop car? He said, why don't you go take a shit on the cop car? And they kept joking about it after I left, right? The whole table is like 10 or 12 people at the table. They're all joking, and they said Koechner went and did it. So there was belief that it happened. It never happened. But
that's insanity.
Yeah.
That's really poor police
work.
I
do see Mark. Do we have to go?
Yeah. I'm going to get out of here. Hey, Mark. Hey, Mark.
Yes, I'll take a shit on Mark's desk.
Don't interrupt my show. Get in the hallway. Get the hell out of here. Get the hell out of here.
Wow.
Just kidding. That was Mark, everybody. We got to get out of here. David Koechner, 4 shows this weekend, 1 matinee tomorrow. Get your tickets now, carlsoncomedy.com. And most importantly, make sure you follow David. You can find all the links you need at davidkoechner.com. You find his YouTube channel and keep an eye out for this podcast.
Is there one last question you've got in the queue?
I do not. I'm gonna let you go.
Okay. Well,
I saw when Mark walks in like that. When Mark just walks
clear the board.
The show.
Love it. Thank you so much. God bless you.
All right.
Great
guys.
to see you again.
Thanks again, David. Okay. We'll see you next week, Carlson Casters. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for being awesome and watching another episode of the Carlson Cast. Don't forget we're streaming live on Facebook and YouTube every Friday morning. You could also follow us on social media on Twitter and Instagram at CarlsonCast. You can listen anytime on iTunes, Google Play, and we're now available on Spotify. You should also check out an amazing app called Laughable. And on the Laughable app, you can connect to your favorite comedians in a way you never thought you could before. Download it in the App Store and visit carlsoncast.com for information on more shows. And don't be a jerk. Rate and review.